twice already, responding to defeat on opening night against Scotland with a 3-0 victory over Wales. England have had a chance to watch them. Now they finally get a chance to play. Who will come out on top? We will find out very shortly. But before we do that, let's hear from both managers. Richie, welcome to Belfast. I'm sure your players are raring to go for this one.
Yeah, we've had some great preparation. We spent 3 nights at St George's Park, which is very enjoyable, home of football. Played against Notts County, obviously did well, it was a good test. We played against Isfa, again did well, drew the game. RAF we won 4-1 and we drew with Crystal Palace 1 each. So yeah, the preparation's been excellent. And when I first saw the fixtures, come to Northern Ireland to start off with, I thought, wow, this is a great start, but a most difficult start that we could have had. So.
You know the Northern Ireland manager, Frankie Wilson, well, from encounters down through the years. What are you expecting from his side? Well,
first of all, we've got to keep him quiet. He's quite verbal, but from my point of view, he's very enthusiastic, like everybody knows, but his passion's for football. But he always produces good teams. The Northern Ireland, they've got a massive advantage, the fact that they see each other every weekend. They've got some very good technical players, and I just think it is a good test to start off with. Let's see where we are after tonight.
Well, that's very much the thing, isn't it? At senior level, people would expect England to beat Northern Ireland. At this level, that's not necessarily the case.
No, I think the 4 teams are very strong, but when we play against Northern Ireland, their biggest advantage is that they see the lads every weekend. For about over 30 weeks of the year. I mean, that's a big disadvantage to us because we don't see that. We get them together at St George's Park for a few days, and then we play 4 friendlies, and we do the best we can. But yeah, that's the big advantage for these lads, is that they work with set plays and obviously the strengths and weaknesses. And yeah, I think they're well coached, well managed, and it's definitely a big game tonight for us.
You're in a great run of form though with this England team. I think it's 18 games unbeaten now, Richie. You want to make that 19 tonight?
I do, yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I've loved every minute. I think we spoke to you on the phone the other night about the fact that the Wales game was the worst moment I've had. We obviously got beaten in the last 5 minutes, 1-0, and that was the first game I had as a manager, and that was three years ago. So yeah, that was disappointing, but that's the only loss I've had. I've won 12, drawn 6 and lost 1, so it's not about record. So I just want to continue tonight, really.
This is your last year in charge of the Centenary Shield team. How would you reflect on your time, and I guess how do you stop it from distracting from your players, just the job at hand, the 90 minutes?
It is, yeah. Obviously the preparation's key. We've only had yesterday and today together, but it's just a fantastic place to come. We've got a very good squad, and I'm looking forward to the game.
Brilliant. Thanks very much. Best of luck.
Yeah, cheers.
Frankie, what a night for a game of football, and England in town. It doesn't get much better than that, does it?
Doesn't get any better. We're delighted and very welcome. The English Schools FA here. What a beautiful day. The sun was out, so the boys are looking forward to it, as we all are. So hopefully we get a good crowd here. And again, I want to thank the Welders for hosting us.
And confidence must be high after that Wales game. Not just a good result, but a really good performance.
It was a good performance. Confidence, it's a funny thing. They're still schoolboys, so the first 10 minutes we'll see how confident they are. We're going to play against England, a different ball game than we did have played against Scotland and Wales. They'll be a lot more technical. They'll play a lot more football, I envisage. So we have to change our game plan accordingly.
The England manager was telling me that he's beaten all the home nations. He hasn't beaten Frankie Wilson's Northern Ireland. Well,
it's tight, and we look forward to playing against England. There's a big country and a big pick of players, but we are very, very small pick of players, but we're in every Sunday, and that makes it a big difference. We know each other extra well. We work tirelessly every Sunday on set pieces and game plans and how to win these games, and it does benefit us.
And do you draw on some of those experiences from famous head-to-heads down through the years?
Yeah, we do. I think back to Bobby Burns in old school commentating. And if you look back on YouTube, you can see it. And Bobby made 1 or 2 great first challenges on their best player, and it set the tone out. And I think Keelan Coyle now with Dungannon scored. Who else scored? Ryan Wade, Ballymena. These guys, are still household names in the Irish League, and they beat England 4-1. So it can be done. it's a big ask. Don't doubt it. You know, at the end of this game, hopefully we'll get a positive result, but it'll be a tough game.
Disappointing in one sense that you don't have two of your key players, but you must be immensely proud that they've gone on to under-19s football.
We're delighted, you know, and Jared and I got on very well, and Jared gave me the call and said these guys have been called up to the 19s, which is a great honour. Fantastic. I know Aaron scored last night against Norway, and he texted into our group chat, as did Paddy Kelly, to wish us all the best, you know. So they're here in spirit, and hopefully maybe next week we'll get them back. But you know, it gives another couple of players a chance. I know we brought in Joe Curran there from St Colum's, Derry, who played really well in the Northern Ireland Cup final under 18s for his school, beating St Louis Ballymena, and he's now in the squad, and it just shows you take your chance, you'll get a chance.
And Jack Patterson in the squad as well, someone that Northern Ireland fans will know quite well, and there's talk of him getting a move to England soon.
Yes, I think, you know, and I was led to believe that he was going to England at Easter. That's why we didn't pursue him, but we found that he's finishing his school career in Ballygar High, doing his GCSEs, which is advisable, and then he's going off hopefully to a full-time contract over in England, which we'll wish him the best. But he's in the squad tonight, and he's a very good player.
It's an exciting occasion, most certainly, but on a serious note, how important is the result tonight for your ambitions? Yeah,
well, it's all about the result. We're told it's a cup final. You know, we win tonight. We can still retain the Centenary Shield, which is it's a big thing for us to retain and win competitions as a Northern Ireland team and manager. So, and that's what we aim for. We you know, our first thing we write down the team sheet is win. It's nothing else. You know, we're not here to develop. We're here to win, and we have done in the past. So we're trying our best to keep going.
We are now on the countdown to kick-off here at the home of Harland and Wolf Welders, a fine stadium with supporters ready for what should be a very good standard of football. Northern Ireland versus England. Both teams making their way out, following the referees, who will also be hoping that it's all about the football tonight. Alongside me, Bobby Burns. And before we get the anthems, Bobby, just a thought on an event like this, a match like this at this level. What an opportunity to test yourself.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Obviously, as we talked about in the last game, there's a lot of these lads playing reserve football, and this is a great opportunity. I've already seen different coaches from some of the other Irish League clubs, and this is a great opportunity for both teams to showcase their ability, and with the game being on TV and in a really good facility, it should be a great occasion.
We are now ready for the anthems. We'll bring you the team news the other side of that. The inspiresport sponsors meeting some of the stars of the future. All these players will have aspirations, no doubt, of kicking on in their careers, but an opportunity to play at this level, not to be sniffed at. They have been working hard to make the grade, to be selected, and to be part of nights like this. A proud moment for friends, family members, and indeed their schools too. There's a fine support out for those on the field. And we can bring you the team news now. The holders keep the same back five from their impressive 3-0 win over Wales. Ryan Brown in goals. Captain Aidan Kelly is joined in centre back by Oran McCart and flanked by Ewan McCoubrey and Ryan McKay. They do, however, make 2 changes in midfield. Jack Montgomery starting in right wing, Shane Hockey getting the nod in centre mid, Liam McStravick and Jack McFeely are the 2 up top. Aaron Whiteman and Patrick Kelly, 2 high-profile names not available, as both are in Spain with Northern Ireland's under-19s. For England, it's a 4-4-1-1 for Richie Alderson. Nennan and Miller, Paradise, Fox, Dobson forming the back line. East Sussex college friends and Hastings teammates Freddie Legg and Jack Bates line up together for their country in a midfield that has Beirling and Burton in it. Alfie Dean is behind striker and captain Josh Stones, who is one to watch. He's been linked with a move to Wigan Athletic. There's a number of new faces at Northern Ireland's bench. Youth international Jack Patterson being joined by Schools Cup winner Joe Curran. Loughall's Ben Leake in the panel as well. For the visitors, they have 2 fewer on their bench. Injuries in the build-up have deprived a couple of their chance to be here. Forward Noah Carney actually picked up a knock himself recently, but with an eye for goal, he's available to be called upon if required. It's a stunning night here. We've been treated to a lovely sunset and stunning hospitality as well, it has to be said, Bobby Burns. I mean, it's all about the football, but it's nice to be looked after.
Yeah, absolutely. They must have been listening to you the last time, and thankfully we've got plenty of tea and biscuits for half time, so hopefully they extend the 15-minute period so we have time to eat them all.
That's how the table stands at the moment. Remember, it's all about points. Goal difference does not come into it in the Centenary Shield, so that is how you can have shared winners of the competition. Northern Ireland, Scotland and the Republic of Ireland all have picked up wins. Wales defeated in their only match so far. That was against Northern Ireland. This is England's maiden voyage in the 2022 edition. A recap of the results we've seen so far. Northern Ireland responding after that 3-2 loss out in Scotland, and our most recent match on St Patrick's Day in Dublin saw the Republic of Ireland edge out Scotland by a goal. Might just be the odd goal that settles this one tonight. Our referee is Joe Mullen, Richard Hegarty and Rachel Greer. His assistants, Gary Thompson, is the 4th official. The ref going through the final count, a last glance at the watch, and then it will be time for the action as Alfie Dean gets ready to kick us off here in Belfast. So it's England who get the ball rolling and try and get forward early. They appeal and win the throw leg was the intended target of the pass. D'Amico Burton on throw-in duty. Plenty of height in that penalty area as it is hoisted in. Northern Ireland win the first aerial battle, but it dropped in the box before they were able to clear the danger. Well read, and it's Paradise initially that got the ball, and the pass up the line brings about another England throw-in. It's the visitors, Bobby, that are trying to set the tempo early.
Yeah, this is probably one of the difficulties for Northern Ireland that we spoke about off air, where because this is England's first game in the Centenary Shield, you maybe haven't had the chance to properly scout them, and after that big long throw, Northern Ireland need to be much more aware about giving cheap throw-ins away in their box, because that was a huge throw-in, and Kelly did well to win the header.
Bates' pass was telegraphed, and Northern Ireland trying to play forward there. An acknowledgement from McStravick of the idea of the pass. The diminutive attacker has been drawing admirers for his performances in the opening games. Understandably so, if you saw the finish that he applied at this venue against Wales, lobbing the keeper. Dobson. Lovely bit of control that, and Legg was the person again that they were looking for. Dean had his route closed down, but he's back on the ball and he's on the front foot. He wants a shot here, Dean, you can see that. And Northern Ireland quickly congregating around the edge of the area, preventing any room. And McFeely was trying to put the squeeze on, but it was good defending from Paradise. Tosh playing it back, and Kelly happy to leave that to his keeper. Brad, another one of the players that really impressed in that last game for Northern Ireland. You see 3-0 and you might think that the goalkeeper had an easy night of it. That certainly was not the case, and you would imagine against a team with England's talents he could well be busy here again. The home side doing a lot of defending, so far able to answer the questions. Dobson had made a good run down the channel, but instead it's a speculative shot, and it's a comfortable one for Brown.
Yeah, England have made a bright start, and certainly from looking at the early passages of play, it looks as if it's going to be a tougher challenge for Northern Ireland. But it's interesting, you know, speaking to after the game last couple of weeks ago, speaking to Frankie Wilson and talking about some of the things that they have to work on, and seeing them trying to apply that now. But this will definitely be a tough challenge against England, and as we said, even when they came out, when they were warming up, they certainly looked to have a very big physical sort of presence and height and strength. So a tough challenge for Northern Ireland, particularly with some of the players they have missing.
Tosh got a further taste of senior football this week with Coleraine. By all accounts, put in a good performance down at Milltown against Warrenpoint Town in the Irish Premiership. That shows you the calibre of players on display when at this tender age they're playing men's football, some of them. Right idea, trying to get it into the middle, just didn't work out that time for Ryan McKay.
Yeah, but just as you say, you know, the likes of Tosh, this Centenary Shield gives them a great showcase, and you know, the likes of Owen Kearney may have been watching the game a couple of weeks ago, you know, against Wales, and when those players perform so well, it gives them the opportunity to then come into the team. And I think he got an assist in that game the other night against Warrenpoint with a great ball in, and it's great to see the sort of managers and clubs sort of reflecting how good this level is and the opportunities that it can provide.
That's a wonderful pass. Leg judging the bounce, able to pull it back, and Northern Ireland relieved to see nobody in English colours lurking on the edge of the area. Was crying out for that sort of delayed run, wasn't it really? Everyone had gone into the box and the pass just pulled behind them.
Yeah, but it just shows you England's quality. They were 70 yards from goal, and one superb pass over the top. Paul Scholes could cut them open, and that's where Northern Ireland's defence have to be very wary about that ball over the top.
McFeely appeared to take a nudge in the back there, but the referee trying to let play continue. As Dobson mops up, plays it back to Harvey Keogh. Burton did well in the air there. Dobson prodding it into a bit of space. Tosh helping his defence, but Northern Ireland at 6s and 7s and stones trying to fashion an angle for a shot, and denied there. He's got 13 goals in the build-up to the Centenary Shield, so no surprise that he is the main man up top. He's been hammering them in for fun throughout the trials in the friendly period.
Yeah, he looks dangerous, big and strong and fast, and that's the last thing that Northern Ireland defence will want to hear.
Bates signalling into the centre as he skims it into the air. It's a good header, and it wasn't very far off bringing about the first goal of the night.
Yeah, he talked about his goal scoring record, but I think Stones would be disappointed there. He really should have scored, you know. It's good delivery in, and he's about 6 or 7 yards out, and maybe just there wasn't as much pace on the cross as it was coming in, but he should probably score there. And when you see the height and strength that he has, I think he maybe just mistimed his jump a little bit, but Northern Ireland will have to get tighter to him on the next corner because they give him far too much time and space there.
Back in and winning the flick on there, but again England's midfield able to get a hold of it, this time steered back by McCart. Trying to find a bit of form, bit of fortune down that side, wasn't there for them this time, and that's the sort of pass that probably normally Whiteman would be there and running on to.
Yeah, that's the difficulty. I think Northern Ireland have defended well at times, but when they have won the ball back in this sort of middle period like here, it's just going to be difficult for them to unlock those passes without some of their main men.
Burton freeing up leg. He got plenty of power behind that. Good save from Brown. We thought he might be kept busy, and that was fizzed at him with some power.
Yeah, England have made a great start to the game, and Leg, I think, there does really well. Comes inside, and a great strike, and a superb save from Brown. And yet again, as like the Scotland or the Wales game, he's shown again what is quality.
McStravick has just rolled over there, whether maybe just rolled his ankle as he landed. Back on his feet anyway, albeit moving not too smoothly. Looks to have run it off anyway, as Bates gathers for England, and Leg is signalling he wants that early ball, trying to get in behind McKay, who had read it expertly, hooked forward and into the body of McFeely.
Yeah, one of the things I think in previous games, Northern Ireland's two strikers have been told to leave the opposition centre-backs on it because maybe they don't have the quality to pick those passes, and I think England's two centre-backs have shown that they do have that quality, and I think that the Northern Ireland two front men really need to try and press on to England's centre-backs, because they're picking some very dangerous passes in, and it's putting Northern Ireland under a lot of pressure.
Paradise, who's playing the ball, they were saying he really bases his game off Nemanja Vidic, so that's always what forwards love to hear, isn't it? A big, hard, tough tackling centre-back ready for them tonight, but not a bad role model to have if you're a young defender. Dobson made the run wide, it's through instead to Leg, and it's a really fine goal from England. The pass splitting the defence wide open. And initially, England stopped celebrating because they feared it was offside, but they're celebrating now.
Yeah, that's a superb goal. I mean, just a fantastic pass. And we talked about Leg. He seems to have great pace and movement, that he cuts inside there. And I think Ryan McKay will be disappointed he sort of lost him for a moment, and the ball split between them, and it's a great first touch and a good finish. But England have certainly shown their quality, and I think Northern Ireland probably in this opening 9 minutes have maybe shown them a little bit too much respect and given those players and the ball too much time.
Well, the Hastings youngster who featured in their FA Cup campaign this season nestles that one in the net, and England have the perfect start.
Yeah, you see there, he's too much time on the ball, and I think McKay's maybe worried about the right back who's coming forward as well, and he just loses his sight for a second. And it's a fantastic ball and a good first touch, but one that Northern Ireland will not want to see back.
An early blow for Frankie Wilson's team. And just the start to their campaign that England were looking for. Fox stepping away from the challenge of McStravick. And when you get a goal up, you can afford to be a bit more patient as well.
To be fair, I think England deserve it. They've had a couple of chances in the corner, particularly where Stones missed the header, and Northern Ireland have sort of defended okay, but they've really struggled to get on the ball.
Well, I think you can hear that we do have plenty of young supporters here. They were making sure to appeal for that free kick, which was an easy decision for the referee, pushing the back right in front of the match official.
As you mentioned earlier, when you have the likes of Patrick Kelly and Aaron Whiteman, when you do get the ball, they're the sort of players that have the quality to keep it, maybe drive and give the opposition a problem. And it's an opportunity for other lads tonight for Northern Ireland to show what they can do, but it's always going to be tough when you're missing sort of probably your two best players.
Tosh keeping Dobson honest. And Northern Ireland just rushing a few passes, which I suppose can happen, a bit of adrenaline after going behind, you're trying to react, but it's an easy thing to say. Probably do, though, need to settle it.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's hard sometimes too when you're tired and you haven't took a touch, and you don't want to go 2-0 down either, but some nice little passes here. It's just maybe trying to get McStravick on the ball. The last game particularly, he was getting in great pockets and getting possession, and unfortunately tonight they've really struggled to get him on the ball.
Early days yet. Fox thumping it into the sky. Good play in the out of midfield from Beerling. Northern Ireland's bench weren't quite happy with what they were seeing there, but despite the protest, play goes on for England. Stones was trying to nudge that on with his chest, wasn't able to do so, and Bates had telegraphed the pass as Northern Ireland get the throw. England get on with the free kick quickly. Paradise has got on the ball an awful lot early on, not afraid to get their defenders in and playing as well, Bobby.
Yeah, this England team have really impressed me, and as we talked about the last time, this is a superb surface. It's a newly laid 3G, 4G pitch, so I think that's probably helped them, and all their players look very comfortable and calm on the ball, but Northern Ireland are maybe making it a little bit easier for them, just giving them too much time on it.
Advancing again here, leg was in the centre, but this time the quality of the cross was not there, and it allows Northern Ireland a bit of a breather.
Yeah, I think Frankie Wilson and Simon Nix are trying to shout on to Jack McFeely there to get close to the two centre-backs, and I think he probably needs the team up to support behind him, because when he's pressing one of them, there's always a number 6 and another centre-back free, and they're just sort of bouncing it around him in a triangle, so probably need to try and get up closer to him, but it's difficult because these two centre-backs look like two very strong and fast defenders.
Northern Ireland bench offering a bit of encouragement there as McFeely's movement just forced England into, I guess, the safest option, which is just put it into touch and get back into shape.
Yeah, and to be fair, that was probably a good play from Northern Ireland, and in the Wales game, Northern Ireland were getting on the end of those, but again, you know, the English defenders were good starting positions, and they do seem to have good pace, and they were able to recover well, and they say put it out there, and unfortunately Northern Ireland don't have someone that can throw the ball 30 yards into the box like England seem to have.
Okay, just put that pass behind his teammate. Dean. Stones showing good awareness there to get himself back in the ball, even though the pass initially didn't look like it had the pace to reach him, and he was determined to make sure he won that, and he has got the throw in.
Yeah, it's going to be a big physical battle for Kelly and McCart there, but I think they've actually handled it well and won a lot of good headers, and Kelly made a good header there, and that's where, you know, Northern Ireland's midfield, the likes of Hawley and Greer in there, need to be trying to get on the second balls, because when you're winning the first header and you're doing well, if you don't pick up the seconds, it's very hard to get out, and this offers England another opportunity with the long throw from Burton.
That's what they're going for again.
His only problem will be how long a run up he can get with this fence.
It is an impressive throw in terms of distance, but the direction on that one making it bread and butter for the keeper.
Yeah, I think the fence being so close probably aided Northern Ireland there, because the first throw he got was closer to the benches, and he, with the longer run up, was able to hurt it right into the middle of the box. So I don't imagine Northern Ireland will be providing any towels or trying to help him with a run up anytime soon.
Burton has a bit of room to run into as well, has Stones ahead of him, and Stones is not going to reach that one. Well, you can see just a little word or two being exchanged there. There was a nudge in the back of Northern Ireland's defender. I think the referee's just coming across to try and calm things down, but suffice to say the English forward is fired up for this one.
Yeah, that's always quite dangerous when you push a player into those fences, and I fully understand why Cart didn't like it.
No rush to get on and take the goal kick, I guess, as Keogh trots back into position.
This is a position where, you know, Northern Ireland are almost letting England centre-backs get on it, but if they're picking passes over the top, it can be difficult.
And then challenging there, they were trying to move through, but Beerling able to retrieve the ball in England, as they have done for the majority of the half so far. Looking to threaten in behind. This time the flag is up, and Legg is maybe relieved after seeing that rebound on his weaker side.
Yeah, but it comes again, you know, long ball from England. Kelly actually does well to win the header for Northern Ireland, but they don't pick up the second ball, and England just get on their way on another attack. And you know, the Northern Ireland midfield really need to try and get the grips with those second balls now.
Northern Ireland looking for a more direct option through, and again it's watched all the way out into touch. At the moment, you would imagine if you're Richie Alderson, you're very happy with what you're seeing. Not only have you got the goal, but England have had the answers to some of the tactical plans of Frankie Wilson's team. Yeah, definitely. I think England, you know, one of the things that they have, I don't think Northern Ireland have fully settled into the game. They don't look totally comfortable on the ball at times, and you know, there McCarty, he sort of didn't look like he had any options, and then you try and play a long straight pass, and you know, England's starting position has been good. They're playing a good high line, and they've got the pace to back that up. You know, playing a high line's brave because there's space in behind you, but they seem to have the pace, and McCarty playing a straight long ball like that against the pacey defence, it nearly needs to be so pinpoint in order to get McFeely on the ball. Stravic showing good industry in that touchback. Will force a race to try and keep it in. Keeper more than capable of doing that, and not just keeping it in, but playing a decent pass up the pitch, which his teammates have been able to retrieve for him. Sussex lad Bates breaking through, Burton trying to do the same, and just a little glance at the referee there as if to say, am I getting the free kick? But maybe not enough of a contact to convince the referee to blow his whistle on that occasion. Not shying away from the challenge either, McCoubry. No, he's very physically get stuck in, and fair play to him. It's very difficult there, though. I think there was two or three passes in a row that have gone to McStravic's head, and when you look at the size of McStravic alongside, you know, the English defenders like Fox, it's not really going to be the pathway to goal for Northern Ireland. That's what Northern Ireland will be hoping for. Plenty of crunching challenges just to show their strength and their quality, and make sure that they do respond to a bit of adversity that they faced so far. But you can see that outball McFeely is potentially something that they'll try to work on further, as they have been awarded a free kick in the edge of the box. It's been, I think, something that they've obviously tried to do. You want to get your forwards into the game, but McFeely's runs a couple of times are making the defenders pay a bit of attention, and that's maybe where they need to try and have a bit more joy. Yeah, probably just trying to make the pass a little bit more accurate. You know, he's up front on his own, so if the pass isn't accurate, you're 2v1, and you know, you need to get him in a position where he's favoured to get to the ball, and that was better. You know, he got into a good position, and it was the first time probably they played an accurate ball in between the lines into his feet, and he was smart enough that he was able to sort of buy the free kick, and it's a good position now for Northern Ireland. And as we saw the last time, they like to sort of plan little tricky sort of free kicks, so it wouldn't surprise me if they do some kind of cutback rather than go straight for goal. Well, as much as England have enjoyed the opening 20 minutes of this game, they will need to be switched on as they prepare to defend the set piece, which will be taken off the left boot of Lewis Tosh, parried into the centre of the penalty area. Looked a little nervy there for a moment, not quite cleared the danger yet. Montgomery, McFeely, and England timing their challenge as well. They could ill afford to misjudge that. Hockey was outnumbered, but did enough to give his team a chance to get the ball back. But again, it always seems to be somebody in white just pops up and is able to get it. The energy levels and the work rate of the English side have been admirable. Yeah, that's what will probably disappoint Frankie Wilson most when he analyses this first 20 minutes back, is, you know, you can sort of play against teams and they might be better technically than you or do certain skills, but Northern Ireland teams never want to be outfought, and I'm sure that's something that, you know, Frankie and Simon Nix are always very much adamant about. But in the first 20 minutes so far, England have managed to get on the end of a lot of the second balls, and, you know, in a physical duel there where there was two Northern Ireland players against two England, they came out with the ball, and
it wouldn't surprise me, you know, if this continues, for Frankie Wilson will make changes, because he's certainly a manager that's very competitive and wants to fight and win and knows the importance of winning the midfield battle.
And Northern Ireland and set pieces can often be one of the avenues that they can look to exploit as they try one from range there. And Montgomery not able to get his body over the ball that time.
No, but that was better from Montgomery. He was able to anticipate the header coming down, got his body in front, and you know, that shows you the benefit of getting on the second balls. You know, he allowed Northern Ireland to then build the attack, and you know, he maybe could have taken a touch out of his feet, maybe to have a better chance of shooting, but a bit more positive play from Northern Ireland, certainly.
Well, that was the set piece that I was talking about a moment ago. Keeper just about able to punch that out. It always looks a bit better when it eventually lands with one of your team, but just for a moment, it's one of the few times we've seen England's defence not quite know whose job that was to deal with what seemed like a routine ball into the box. So there might be something that Northern Ireland think about more so. We know down through the years Northern Ireland have been very good on set pieces. Burton.
Yeah. No, it's something that Frankie Wilson always works on a lot. Certainly I know from my time in the under-18 squad, you know, even on the Sunday training sessions there would be plenty of work on the set pieces, so certainly wouldn't surprise me if they were able to get a goal from one tonight.
Well, I was thinking about Gareth Macaulay, who's the guy heading up Northern Ireland's team in Spain at the moment. Jared Little had a family bereavement and we're thinking of him at this sad time, so the under-17, under-19s manager passing over duties to very capable hands, and they got a 2-1 win against Norway with Whiteman, as we mentioned on the score sheet, one of the players that will be involved again for Northern Ireland, you would imagine, next time out, but obviously couldn't be here tonight.
I'm sure they wish they had Gareth Macaulay to play in the centre back for their set pieces tonight.
Who wouldn't? Legg already got one goal to his name. McKay doing really well to get a toe in there, because we've already seen what that young man can produce, and if he'd have got in on goal, you'd have backed him to score again.
Yeah, that was much better defending from McKay. I think he watched his man. It was Legg's clearly been a dangerous asset for England, and very, very pacey, and did well to get his toe in to get back there and divert the ball to safety.
So far so good for the side who are 24 times winners of this competition, 18 of those outright. The holders behind, Legg's goal separating the sides. But Northern Ireland growing into the game and starting to show more positive signs. Tosh, it's a lovely touch from him. Arrived at an awkward height. Nobody able to arrive on the end of that from his own side, and Burton turning and playing it out. And then on to Miller, moving it back with Burton again, who will once more look for Legg. Give and go looking for Dean. Hockey was like an immovable object there. Stood in his path, was not for budging. McFeely. What a time he's having, incidentally, as he's appealing for his shirt being held. But a couple of goals in the Schools Cup final, 5-1 winners. St Colum's College, congratulations to them in what was an exciting final full of goals, and well, every young attacker wants to get on the score sheet in the final.
Yes, absolutely. And Frankie Wilson was actually commentating on that, co-commentating on that game, so I was sending him plenty of stick, and he said he would listen to my game tonight quite closely to critique me so critically. So no, St Colum's did well in that, and it was a good game, and obviously a school that have produced a lot of young players that have come through this team.
It was the third time in 6 years in the final. Shows you the pedigree of St Colum's. And on the bench, Joe Curran, who was another player from that final, and Frankie, watching that game, thought, you know what, I'll have a look at you, come up to the schoolboys setup, and he's on the bench with a chance of playing against England tonight. I mean, it is amazing how things can move so quickly in this sport.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it was, speaking to Frankie this week, he was talking about how well he had played in that final, and that obviously prompted him to select him for this game. So it'll be interesting to see think it's game time tonight, but obviously it just shows you never know who's watching and how that may influence it.
Sometimes we focus on results and think about scouts and the next level and all the rest of it, but you can forget just about the excitement of playing football, which is at this age very clear to see, and what it actually means to families is, you know, players reach a new level and a milestone in their lives.
Absolutely, and this is always an opportunity for lads to get, the first international caps, and it's a brilliant tournament to sort of players to get that opportunity and show what they can do. And I know when I played here, family and friends coming to games and just getting that exposure to play on TV probably for the first time for many of them. So one that I think Northern Ireland, both in this game and the last, and as well as England lads, haven't been overawed by, and it's a good experience that'll stand them in good stead.
Thoughts of Bobby Burns, Centenary Shield winner and captain in doing so as well.
Yeah, it was good. The good days. No, it was a very enjoyable time, and we played away to England actually in Torquay and had a 4-1 win, and probably what was the highlight of that tournament that year.
Don't worry, Frankie's already mentioned it. That's a good looking ball into the box. England had the bodies back, and the header was always heading off target, but Kelly will be someone that they'll look to hit, I think, a few more times after seeing that no one could quite match him in the air.
Yeah, he's probably one of their strongest players in the air. He's good at his heading, and if they can get the delivery right, he'd be the sort of player that they'd be looking to aim for. But England looked at plenty of height right across from the back line right up to the forward line to pick them up, so it'll be, the delivery will need to be very good for them to score tonight.
Throw will go to Northern Ireland there. Last touch off an English boot.
I think in the last game, McStravick and Tosh particularly were really, really dangerous for Northern Ireland, and they've just struggled to get them on the ball. And maybe if they can win maybe the ball more in midfield, they'll be able to get them there. But it's just been tough, and you can see probably that England have watched Northern Ireland's previous games, because they're marking McStravick particularly very, very closely and trying to block the passing line into him by putting somebody in front of him.
I might just ask about much of McFeely. He did well to stop it crossing the line, but would have been a little miraculous had he have done much more with that one as Northern Ireland get back in the ball. And it's a fair point actually made coming into this game from the England manager. Northern Ireland are with each other every Sunday working on drills and routines and patterns and all the rest of it. So as much as you can watch a team play a couple of games and think you know how they'll set up, you don't really have time to prepare the players fully for that challenge. Good give and go. Tosh and Dobson getting in the way.
Yeah, well, that is one advantage that Northern Ireland have over England, although the population of England is 20 million times bigger than Northern Ireland, so I would say that advantage outweighs the one of preparation.
Please nobody do the math on what Bobby's just said there. Not interested in reading those tweets. Into the centre it comes as Burton flicks it to Stones. Deft touch and leg, showing plenty of pace. Hockey sticking with him, leg looking in, and Stones was the obvious pass, but maybe with all the running that he'd done there, it was just hard to get the right weight on the delivery.
Yeah, leg's been very, very dangerous down here. I'm glad I'm not trying to mark him tonight. It's much easier sitting up here, but there's not much McKay can do there. He plays a good touch and go, and I actually think it was a good ball in. The problem from England's point of view was that there was just one man in the box, and I think they're probably just struggling to keep up with leg on his counter attack. But if they can get another man in the box there, it would have probably been 2-0 if they could have got somebody into the back post.
Really nice cushioned pass in there, thinking about it, and I suppose why not? Dean with a pile driver, but that one whizzing past the goal.
Yeah, there's no question England are sort of dominating the midfield, and it's a great touch and go around Max Greer there, I think, and if England are going to keep getting into those positions, it's only a matter of time before they make it 2-0. So it wouldn't surprise me, maybe even at half-time, that if Northern Ireland look to the likes of Jack Patterson or somebody to maybe see if they can change their fortunes in midfield.
Bates couldn't quite get a toe on that. McStravick can swivel away, and maybe a little bit of relief there to see Dean slip on the surface. after doing well to shimmy away from a marker, the pass wasn't quite as measured as he would have liked.
Yeah, well, they kind of got away with it, but you can see here, you know, Northern Ireland's two centre-backs can get on the ball, but they're sort of struggling to go from that stage, but that's better there into McFeely, but again, he sort of gets smothered by English bodies, and this is where Northern Ireland really want to get on it to try and build up their attacks.
Trying to scoop it over the back line, booted away. And in the end, probably sensible from the young Cliftonville player and Northern Ireland captain Kelly, just going back to the keeper and allowing a bit of a reset there. No point letting it bobble about and putting yourself under undue pressure. Tosh away from Dobson, bit of quality from Tosh as Northern Ireland try and turn the screw. Lots of pressure being applied here on England, and McFeely was just lifting it over as Northern Ireland player came back from an offside position there, but that was appreciated by the home fans who finally got to see a bit more of what this Northern Ireland team can produce.
Yeah, Tosh is definitely a good player. Good ball out by Aidan Kelly, you know, gets it out to Tosh quickly, and I think that, as we talked about, if they can get McStravick and Tosh on the ball, they'll definitely be dangerous, but the service has to be good, you know, and if they can get them into good positions, then they'll build forward.
McFeely got away from Paradise, got the pass in, but McStravick had gone beyond that, run on, and the pass had ended up being turned over. A little bit of frustration there. The two not able to link up just as well as we know they can do so far.
Yeah, I think we gave McStravick man of the match the last day, but he really struggled to get on the ball, and I think it's probably testament to England. You know, I know we talked about them not having much time to work on it, but they look to have a really good defensive shape, and I think they've clearly watched the last game and pointed McStravick out as a dangerous player, and they just put a man in front of him and let the centre-backs come tied up behind him, and it's been very hard for Northern Ireland to sort of find McStravick other than with long balls, which clearly aren't going to suit him.
Trying to extend their lead now is Dean. We've already seen once he gets within range, he's not afraid to have a side at goal. Playing like a side that have plenty of confidence and unbeaten run coming in to this competition in their friendly games. 4-1 win over the RAF's under-23 side, draws against Crystal Palace and the independent schools, and a win against Notts County. Tells you all you need to know about a team that has been whittled down since pre-Christmas, and then through friendly games got to know each other better.
Yeah, no, I have to say, I mean, I think when we played England a number of years ago, they probably took us for granted a little bit, and we were able to surprise them and played really well and won the game. But this England team looks like probably one of the best teams I've seen since, you know, sort of covering or playing in the Centenary Shield. Really very athletic, good on the ball and good pace, and to be fair, they'll probably be disappointed that they maybe haven't been more clinical and sort of killed this game off more.
Alderson was speaking very highly of his players in the build-up to this. One of the key men, Stones, there, just edged away from goal, but of the 3 panels he's worked with, just strangely the way obviously things worked out, they had a tournament then. The last one they competed in, they didn't get to compete in as such because it was cancelled prematurely, and we all know the reasons for that. And now another go at it again, and this is final year as manager, because the way the English schools work it, you get 2 cracks at it essentially, 2 initially as an assistant, and then you move on to the manager's hot seat. But he said this, for his money, is the best of the lot, and I think you can see that the last time that these two met in this competition was a 0-0 draw in Redditch, and hotly contested game, which was better than the scoreline suggested. But we are seeing England's capabilities as we near half-time, just under 10 minutes to go. Legs goal still what separates the teams, but after an inopportune beginning to the match, Northern Ireland have started to find their way into it.
Yeah, absolutely, and if they can passes like that, it'll certainly help them.
Well, Tosh nearly on the end of it. Certainly a good idea, and one that nearly came off.
Yeah, that's a better idea, but you know, so many times in this game, you know, England tactically have really got it on point, because Kelly and McCartney are on the ball there, and there's been a number of times where they've ended up just passing it back to their goalkeeper because they're sort of struggling to find passes in the midfield, and when they're going long, it's not working, and you know, they're trying to play passes like that to Tosh, which are quite high tariff. You know, passes are very difficult, so I certainly think England have they'll be delighted with how they've played, but they look like a really, really good side so far.
The keeper hasn't had too much to do, bar one set piece to palm away, really. Tosh. Might he be worked now? McFeely. Oh, wow! Like an arrow. That is a stupendous goal. And I don't care how good your goalkeeper is, he's never saving that.
Yeah, what a finish that is from McFeely. To be fair to him, I think he's been quite isolated in the early parts of this game, and 2 English defenders have kept him quiet, but that is a superb goal, and it's what we talked about. I think, you know, Northern Ireland's route to goal is not the long ball from defence or a goalkeeper. It's trying to get it down, and I think it was Tosh, bit of composure, gets his foot in the ball, plays it into McFeely, and England's defence drop off for no reason. McFeely's the only striker, and there's no reason why they needed to be so deep and drop off, and McFeely and opens up, absolutely hits it like a dream, and what a finish that is on such a big occasion. He'll be absolutely delighted.
He scored against Wales, and he has struck sweetly here to level against England, doing his reputation the world of good. A player in great form, and a player that's brought Northern Ireland right back into this one. Northern Ireland won, England won. 38 minutes played.
Yeah, even the most optimistic Northern Ireland supporter probably wouldn't say that this is, you know, the most deserved score, but now Northern Ireland are right back in the game. They're doing well, and they've got a good bench that can come on, even the likes of options they may have at half time. But I think they've actually defended pretty well, you know, particularly the centre backs in Northern Ireland, McCart and Kelly. But these are the sort of positions now, much better from Haughey picking up the second balls, and hopefully the goal will give Northern Ireland a lift.
And now it's England's turn just to gather themselves again, because they've been riding high in confidence, and a bolt from the blue and their lead's gone.
That's why you always, you know, when you're having a purple patch and you're on top, you've got to score more goals and get the second goal, because when it's only one goal, you always leave yourself very open to sort of a sucker punch, and one probably defensive lapse from the 2 centre backs who dropped off, even though McFeely was the only striker. That just gave him the time and room, and just a brilliant goal.
I was only just saying that the English number 1 hadn't really much to do, but there was nothing he could do that time. And Northern Ireland could be in again here. McStravick, well, he's certainly fast enough. Just a bit too much on the pass, perhaps. And it was well read by Keogh to smother it just in time from an English perspective.
Yeah, that was much better from Northern Ireland. I think England have been a wee bit shocked by this. And, you know, Greer actually linking up, playing a good midfield pass, and just slightly too much on the pass, but certainly the right idea to sort of play that one in between the centre back and the right back, and a good run from McStravick.
Montgomery did well to keep possession. Forward from McCart. And the referee just wanting a word for
free kick.
A little bit of afters that went on there. Challenge that came in after the ball was played.
These are the sort of things that frustrate players, because McFeely's taken a great touch and actually had the ball in a good position to get at England's defence, and unfortunately the referee didn't recognise it in time to play the advantage.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Fred McGee Hospitality Suite is open for Northern Ireland students and guests only. For anyone else wishing to feel hospitality,
Tosh slipped under his boot there, but he has, I think, confused the officials, who, if in doubt, give it to the home team. Not everyone was necessarily pleased. The English bench maybe not just as happy, but Northern Ireland not waiting around for any reversals of decision, and that one was a more certain Northern Ireland throw-in. Dean beaten to the ball. That's a lovely little touch there as McStravick was trying to get turned, and credit to Burton, who'd gotten his way in England. At 6s and 7s at the back there. Nanon and Miller going for the old-fashioned anywhere will do approach, and who could blame him? A lot of players passing off the duty of making a clearance to one another, and it took someone just to step in and say, lads, get rid of it.
It's fantastic play actually from McStravick. You know, I think his initial first touch wasn't good, but while everybody was sort of sitting watching him on the ground, he somehow from the floor managed to scoop it over the England defence and put it into a dangerous area.
By hook or by crook, England survived that scare. One back. Scullion nearly able to thread that through to McStravick, and Scullion has got on the ball an awful lot more in the last few minutes, and you can see how instrumental he can be in midfield.
Yeah, he's a good player, Scullion, and I think in the last game, you know, he played well in periods too. So
on the ball again and moving it on there. England looking for an offside, definitely was not offside. May fall for Tosh here, trying to find room, and on his weaker side, just wasn't able to drive it beyond the keeper. But another smooth move from Northern Ireland.
Yeah, Tosh is a good player when he gets into that position. I think he'll be disappointed he wasn't able to get more on the ball, but much better play from Northern Ireland. Scullion picks it up in midfield, and when they get the territorial advantage, they're able to get into a good area there.
Well, what a game we have been treated to so far. A couple of minutes until half-time. McFeely's rocket shooting life into Northern Ireland, but England will do their level best to re-establish their lead. They're having to defend at the moment, though. Paradise did well there, didn't he? Heading while it's going the opposite direction, not always easy. Dean leaving that one to leg and gets it back again. Stones quickly moving it through. Northern Ireland need to make sure they get bodies in the way here. Burton's ended up in the ground, but it was a fair challenge that came in on him. But they can't get the ball too far up the pitch at the moment. They might have a chance to now.
There was a brilliant tackle there by McCart, just last ditch, and then Northern Ireland did well to smother it. So certainly better defended from Northern Ireland, but I think at times their defence is maybe a little bit too deep, and it's making it difficult because the gap from the midfield, particularly Scullion, to the defence is so big that it's giving England space in their little pockets to get the ball and turn and run at the defence. And it's maybe something that Northern Ireland will try and encourage in the second half, is for the defensive line to just get that bit up further up the pitch when they can.
Just a couple of signs of frustration with one or two of the England players.
It's much better though from Northern Ireland on the second balls. You know, in the first 20 minutes they were winning none of them, and last 10 minutes they've won a lot more.
McKay getting up the line there again and just eased over as he played that one. It'll go behind for the goal kick, but it was McFeely trying to release him.
Yeah, McFeely's done well again. The only difficulty is he's sort of Northern Ireland's only striker, and when he's coming out to create those spaces, I'm sure McKay was looking up and wondering there wasn't maybe too many options in the box. But certainly if Northern Ireland can keep getting in those areas, they'll create chances, but that probably wasn't McKay's best delivery.
There will be a minimum of 1 minute added on here at Blanchflower Stadium. Free kick given there. Well, he wasn't too pleased about it, Beerling, but he was caught out of position a little bit and didn't want his man to get past him.
Yeah, since Northern Ireland have scored, they've played much better, and that's what England were doing to Northern Ireland in early passages. I think he got on the ball and was smothered by 3 or 4 players.
Well, they switched off momentarily, England, and it's allowed that ball to come in. It was a better looking delivery, but just not enough height on it that time.
Yeah, when McKay's getting into this area, that's the second cross in a row. You know, you just need that delivery maybe to get over the front man and give the Northern Ireland forward something to fight for.
Fox was hoping to find Burton. Seemed like every pass was slightly heavier than it needed to be in that little triangle of play there, but at least they've moved up the pitch. Is I'm sure what the Northern Ireland bench are thinking. They're actually huddled together, having quite the chin wag at the moment, so they're maybe seeing something that needs addressed, Bobby.
Yeah, I think they'll probably reflect on it. You know, a few things that could have improved, but having gone down 1-0 so early and probably been so much on the back foot in the first 10-15 minutes, I think they've recovered really well, and the game's very even. They've obviously got it back to a draw, so very much poised well for the second half, and Northern Ireland have some very good options that can come off the bench.
Tosh was wanting the ball, the tackle came in and it was a good one. And now Stones, he'll wait for the cavalry to arrive, but he might just back himself. He does. Hard and low, but centro, crucially, which allowed Brown to get down and save it.
Yeah, I think Northern Ireland were calling for a free kick there at the halfway line, but obviously England just showing again their pace and they've got on the counter-attack, and I think Kelly did well just to delay him and make him shoot, and another good save by Brown.
Well, the half-time whistle sounds here. Frankie Wilson's side will be feeling a lot better about themselves after going behind early doors. McFeely with a fantastic goal to make it an intriguing second half that we have in store here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a great start from England. Northern Ireland, obviously, since getting the goal, have played much better, but it was a great goal from Northern Ireland. But if they want to try and win this game, they probably need to try and threaten the England goal a bit more. That was probably their only real chance, but certainly they've shown signs of some better play in the latter part of the half.
It wouldn't be panic stations for England, certainly. We'll talk about what they might want to do in a moment, but we'll bring you the highlights from the first half and a chance to see how England went in front in this game. And before they manage that, a free header here from Stones, a bit of an early warning that Northern Ireland were to have, and we know he's a very highly rated player. He's shown glimmers of what he can do, and that was a chance that probably would have expected to score.
Yeah, he was totally unmarked too. Leg has probably been one of England's biggest dangers, and that was a good example of it. He's really, really quick, and I think McKay in the early parts was struggling to handle him, but I think now he's sort of learned that he's predominantly right-footed, and he's sort of gets more support from the likes of Kelly, and it's probably helped him.
And that, I mean, it is a killer pass, isn't it? Drifting in from the wing, first touch, brings it perfectly under control, and then opens his body up to apply the finish, which was just as good.
Yeah, it's an inch-perfect pass, and sometimes you have to put your hand up and say it was a brilliant goal, and I think, Northern Ireland probably could have defended it better, than maybe switch off a little bit when the run from leg comes, but it's a great ball, and good first touch, it plants it in the corner, and probably at that stage a very much a deserved lead for England.
And it caused a bit of confusion because they heard a whistle, and initially they thought, have they tried to disallow this? But no, the goal most certainly was onside. It stood, and then they were able to celebrate. And interestingly, as you watch those sort of reactions, you saw McFeely in the background looking dejected. We'll watch his goal in a moment, but before he had that goal, Northern Ireland really didn't threaten, and to call that a highlight sort of sums it up, doesn't it really? A ball into the box which the keeper was really easily able to push away.
Yeah, but I think this is about to show you, this is probably the first time Northern Ireland really got on the second ball in one possession, and is something we were talking about. But McStravick's run, I think, is quite a smart one. It's the one that probably tracks the England defenders away and drops them deep. And McFeely, great first touch and a brilliant strike. But England will be really disappointed that they dropped off McStravick's decoy run into the sort of channel, and they sort of fell for it. And they'll be disappointed that they let McFeely take 3 or 4 touches on a pose and get a strike at goal from a position where they had their own goal kick.
It does just pull the midfield out of the way, doesn't it? Beerling goes with McStravick, and then McFeely has just a bit of room, but my goodness, what he was able to do with it. Yeah,
this will be a good angle of it here. Great header by Kelly, and they win the second ball. But if you see McStravick's run as it breaks free, sort of probably about now, I think it drops their whole defence off, and brilliant strike from McFeely. It's one of those that you probably only hit 1 in 10 like that, but to do it on this stage on the TV in a big game against England, to get your team back in it was huge. And they've performed much better after the goal. I think it gave them confidence, and they stopped giving England so much respect. I think before that they were giving them far too much time on the ball.
And just before the interval, a bit of a mix-up in the ranks, and maybe some of the afters, the nerves that started to creep in as Northern Ireland's confidence grew and grew from that goal.
Yeah, they started to get into better positions to make crosses, and I think Tosh, watching this back, I'll be disappointed he didn't get more in his strike, but they're getting into better crossing positions, and the likes of McKay, probably could have done more, maybe in a couple of crosses at the end, but they've just got to make sure to keep getting men in the box. I think that one just reminded them of the danger of England on the counter-attack.
Well, we have children out on the pitch enjoying themselves whilst the two teams have a well-earned break. What a moment for them. They might be playing in this competition in a few years' time themselves. The half-time score here, Northern Ireland 1, England 1. And whilst we enjoy a brief break ourselves, we can bring you the highlights from the game which took place on St Patrick's Day between the Republic of Ireland and Scotland.
Good evening and welcome to Home Farm in Whitehall here in Dublin. It's the third match in the inspiresport Centenary Shield. Corner kick swung into the front post this time. Once again, it's a Scottish head that deals with it. It'll come again though to the back post this time, and there are players over, and that's cleared off the line. Scottish player in just the perfect position was John Binney with the clearance off the line. Scotland decide to work it through the middle, and there's a good crossing position here, and it's cut in, and they're appealing for a handball inside the penalty area, and the referee isn't moved by their protestations. It was Kieran Cruz with the block.
Yeah, I think his hand was definitely by his side. It may have struck his arm, but definitely it wasn't away from his body. Good play by Scotland, working it down the channel.
Here's Keys now. And Keys targeting Raggett with that long ball forward. John Binney with good defensive work, and that's broken here for Scotland, and there could be a chance, a shot from distance. Oh, and it's in the back of the net, and Scotland are doing it again here. It's Che Riley with the goal, and just as in the game against Northern Ireland on the opening night of this competition, Scotland have stunned the Republic of Ireland this time with a goal against the run of play, and it's Che Riley who's got it.
Again, we've been saying all along, Ireland started brightly, they're enjoying the possession, but Scotland definitely threatening on the break. Ball broke there to Riley, and in fairness, it's a great strike. I think it took a bit of deflection and maybe put the keeper off. It took a wee deflection, but very, very similar to the match against Northern Ireland. Once they're given that opportunity in front of goal, they just let fly. And for all Ireland's good work, it's undone there.
This might show us an angle on that deflection if there was one, perhaps. Now it's O'Donovan to the feet of Raggett. You've seen all too little of him in the last 10 minutes or so. O'Donovan again, it's a clever ball, and he's managed to slip that in behind to a player in a green shirt, and it's McCullough with the ball back. Oh, and it's in! And Ireland have got a goal back, and it's come in unlikely fashion. It's Lennon Gill. He's not an unlikely goal scorer, very good in front of the posts, Lennon Gill, but for all Ireland's early pressure and all their control of the game early on, it's come in a period when they weren't in control of the game, John. On 31 minutes, Ireland have levelled.
Yeah, it was a really good ball. It was Kieran Cruz put McCullough down inside the full-back and centre half, and in fairness, a lung-busting run down and just about caught on the end line. He squared it, and I've been full of praise for the two Scottish centre halves, but unfortunately on that occasion he just went to clear it. I think it was young Steele, and he just misplaced it. And in fairness, once the opportunity, it's actually McInnes, and once the opportunity fell, there was no messing.
It was John Binney with the error.
Yeah, Binney, I think.
And as you say, those Scottish centre-backs have been playing so well, but one error, and Lennon Gill. Michael Raggett making a run across the edge of the penalty area, and now back again. Here comes the free kick. It's a good ball in as well, and it's Binney. I think it's come off John Binney last, and it required the save from Liam Russell, or perhaps it struck the crossbar. In any case, it's a let-off for Scotland.
Definitely come off the top of the crossbar. A wonderful delivery again by McCullough. That's 3 or 4 deliveries now. This he's whipping him in his left foot. And in fairness to Binney, he's done really, really well there in between a massive Irish bodies. They're all attacking it well, and he done well. He got it up over the crossbar.
It'll be another in-swinger, and it'll be that man again, Michael McCullough, to take it. He has been so dangerous on these, and that's another dangerous one as well, and Gill's there, and that's off the line. A player at the front post for Scotland.
I'll hopefully make this pressure play.
What a touch by Raggett for Gill, and he returns it for Raggett again, and there's Gibson sliding in, and he's done so rashly in the opinion of the referee, because that's a penalty for the Republic of Ireland. And it's Lewis Gibson who slides in. Lovely interchange of play between Gill and Raggett, and it was Michael Raggett. It's definitely inside the penalty area. Did he make a connection with the Irish player is the question.
Well, really, first of all, really good play by the Irish front two. Little nutmegs by Lennon Gill. Now this one here.
Versus Liam Russell. Can Russell produce another save? He produced plenty against Northern Ireland, and he's produced another one. And that one is just as good as anything we saw in the match against Northern Ireland. Wonderful save by Liam Russell, because the penalty was not a bad penalty, John.
It was well struck. I think it was a little bit too close to the keeper, and we've said already that the quality this keeper possesses, you're going to have to strike them really, really well into the corners, and it's amazing how mentality can change now.
McCullough's corner kick headed away by Scotland. Healy shapes the ball back out to McCullough again on this left-hand side, and he immediately looks to go on the outside of Burns, and he's pulled that back into a dangerous area. Who's it going to break for him there? Scotland get it away again, but here's Healy onto it on the edge of the penalty area. Now it's McCullough. Plenty of players in blue around him. Picked up now by Healy. Cruz in support. Cruz lofts one into that 6-yard box. This should be comfortable for Russell. Gets the punch away. Back in again by Ireland. Flicked on by Gill. Raggett's in there. He's offside. He finished expertly, but the offside flag up against Raggett on the far side. It's all happening here. But a really good play by Rhys Byrne. A very calm goalkeeper. Here's McCullough again for Ireland, one of their undoubted danger men. And that's another really good cross in towards Lennon Gill, who glances his header towards goal, but off target.
Excellent McCullough again. He's made a great run down the right hand side, stood up the defender, he just dropped the shoulder, come inside it. He really has a wonderful left foot. He's been a fabulous cross, and as you said, Gill just getting across his man, trying to glance it into the back.
Perhaps a bleeding nose. Nothing that should keep him out of the game for too long. Ireland continue with 10 men. Lennon Gill, two Scottish players looking to bar his route forward, but Gill has beaten them both, and he's looking to pick up Raggett. Good turn by Michael Raggett. Oh, great goal by Ireland. Absolutely superb in its creation and its execution by Michael Raggett. He may have missed from 12 yards in the first half, but he's atoned for that. He's made up for that error, and Ireland lead.
Again, an awful lot of credit there has to go to Leonard Gill with his run along the end line. He showed great determination, great strength, and then when he eventually did wriggle along the end, great composure, got his head up, played a lovely ball back, and there was two Irish players there waiting for it. And Raggett, great little turn, pivot, and buried it into the bottom corner. Really, really good goal again. The Irish front two. Here it is here, wonderful bit of skill here. And then once he's lost, he showed great determination. Just kept it in, lovely little ball back. Great spin and pivot, and what a finish. Gave the keeper no chance.
Superb goal by the Republic of Ireland in its creation and its execution. Lennon Gill, it looked like the chance to create something had gone, but he didn't give up on it.
It was just there. You see the centre half so many times, just shepherd those out.
Ireland with the possession. Here's Tyke Walsh now. Walsh to Gill. Gill's flick. Tarmy with the shot from distance, and Liam Russell gets down to his right hand side just to make sure. I suspect the Glasgow boy knew it was going wide, but worked the effort for Tarmy, and a good effort it was too.
He done really well. I think everyone expected him to play it wide, but he took it in his chest swivel and hit a great strike, and definitely worried the goalkeeper.
Liam Russell with the free kick. Scotland amassed on the edge of the Republic of Ireland penalty area. It's come off an Irish head. It's breaking inside the penalty area. Who will it fall for? Oh, and it's drilled in and it's cleared away by Ireland. And there was a half chance in that confusion for Scotland. And there is the final whistle from the referee.
Really
and the Scottish bench are furious at the amount of time added on here. But Ireland are jubilant. They've held on, and they've had to hold on in the middle of some confusion at the end of the game inside their own penalty area and on the sidelines, but they have held on and they've collected the 3 points.
Very unfortunate for Scotland there as the ball ricocheted around the box, because just I didn't see who struck it, but as he struck that volley, it looked for all ends up was going into the top corner. Only for, I think it was Charlie O'Brien, threw his body in the way and blocked it.
Great game played there in Dublin on St Patrick's Day. Ireland 2-1 winners over Scotland, and that is the start they were after. England will be hoping to get a winning start, but it's not been easy for them, and they have been pegged back in this one. 1-1 the score. As we await the second half, that is the table coming in to tonight, and these are the fixtures that we have ahead of us. Looking forward to a trip to Buncrana on Thursday. Northern Ireland taking on the rivals, the Republic, in what should be a brilliant game on the night after. England against Scotland. That is like a derby weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It should be kind of a cracking game still to look forward to. And from Northern Ireland's point of view, you know, you can probably only afford to lose once in this tournament, and having lost the first game to Scotland. This is a big opportunity tonight. Although it's a tough opponent, they've got to try and win it if they want to have any chance of winning the Centenary Shield.
Be a nice moment as well for the England boss playing that game against Scotland. It's at Spennymoor Town, which is where he played for a number of years as a semi-pro before moving on in his career, having been released by Newcastle United. His claim to fame, Richie was telling me, was being released by Kevin Keegan, which is something that not everybody can say. So the obvious joke is he would love it if he could beat them tonight. But we'll see how that one goes. And the England Republic of Ireland game has just one for your attention, dear viewer. David James on co-commentary, as in the David James. So we have really pulled out the stops for you across our coverage here on BBC Sport, and we hopefully will have you along with us for all of those matches as the young players come off. I think they're punctured after 15 minutes, to be honest. They were leaving everything out there. It was great fun as parents, guardians, relatives were watching them have their time to shine.
Yeah, it's brilliant to get them involved and obviously help them with the game, and they've certainly been helped create a good spectacle in the 2 games so far in this campaign with their energy and noise before and during the games.
There they are. Always a bit of fun trying to get the goals back through the gate. They're actually very easy to lift over, but for some reason people insist on trying to force them through.
And they also fold up quite well as the stewards.
Yes, Mark knows what he's doing.
And shown us after they got them off the bench.
I actually believe that his daughter was one of the players involved, which is not nice. So he was able to watch her. I'm sure it didn't distract him from his stewarding, but he's helping to fold up the nets. So doing a good job there.
Very good. It's a great club, and as we spoke about before, you know, and I was on loan as a 16, 17-year-old at the time of actually playing in this Northern Ireland team. We played the Welders, and I think we might have won 1-0, but it was certainly a very, very different place than it is now, and it's great to see the improvements here in East Belfast for not just the first team, but for all the sort of academy and the town and sort of the area of East Belfast. Have such a good facility. It's fantastic.
Bobby, who plays professionally down the road for another team in this part of the city, Glentoran, making sure that one day they'll build a statue for him.
No. I wish it would be good if we had a pitch like this anyway.
Well, the referee just having a last chat with the players. Hasn't had too much difficulty so far. Joe Mullen, he'll be hoping the second half brings more of the same. The player who is the reason it's honours even as we ready ourselves for the second half, Jack McFeely, is kicking off for us. Don't think either team have made a change at the end of the half. So it's as you were. Without question, the other nations will be watching on as well. This is their first chance to get a scouting mission on England and what sort of challenge they might pose. And the Republic of Ireland have had quite a while now to watch Northern Ireland. I know they've been very complimentary of what they've seen from the Northern Ireland Schools FA. A lot of people will be desperate for bragging rights next week, but before we get that far, let's see who comes out on top after 90 minutes here at Blanchflower Stadium. In case you weren't sure what the banging was, I think that's the nets going away underneath the stand. Someone isn't trying to drum up support. That's a good pass. McStravick's on side here, and the keeper hasn't gathered it the first time of asking and was walking a fine line there, but just managed to avoid going over it.
Yeah, he's been very, very solid in everything that he's been asked to do today, but that was certainly a nervous moment. And Northern Ireland, if they can keep getting into good positions like that and playing those sort of balls, there's certainly an area to go.
Scullion screening and winning the throw.
I think, you know, the first 10-15 minutes Scullion was struggling to sort of screen and make those interceptions, but after getting the first goal for Northern Ireland, he's played well and really has made a couple of important interceptions.
Have to pay tribute to Bob Ramsey, who knows everything about Northern Ireland at this level, certainly from under 18s. And well, I'll talk about Bob in a minute, because Northern Ireland are making a change. McStravick, I just wonder if he's got a bit of a knock there. He's going to come off. He's been given a pat on the back as he sat down, And the player coming on for him is Jack Patterson, the Crusaders youngster who has been heavily linked with a move to Everton in the summer. On in his place.
Yeah, McStravick, I think when he was just running through there, I thought he could have got there before the goalkeeper, but it seems as if I think he looks like pulled maybe a part of his groin or hamstring there. He was signaling to the bench, so obviously he's had to go off. But excited to look, and this is the first time I've actually got to see Jack Patterson, but somebody that I've heard plenty about, and I think there was a number of clubs interested in him.
Scullion leathering that across, and just needed a touch but not able to find one.
Yeah, this is the replay of it. I think McStravick could potentially got there, but he pulls up even, you know, when the goalkeeper pulls it out, and I think after that he was very quick to signal that he needed to come off, and it's disappointing because he was our man of the match in the last game, and when you're missing Kelly and Whiteman already, it's another, you know, frustrating one for Frankie Wilson to lose another important attacking asset, but gives Patterson a good chance to come on, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he has to offer tonight.
Well, not a bad player to throw on. Played at under 17 level already for Northern Ireland, and as well as the Everton links, has been tracked by the likes of West Ham, Leeds, Rangers, so he's not been short of admirers. So a chance for a few others maybe to see him up close, if you haven't done so already. Has turned out a couple of times in the Irish League for Crusaders as well. McCoubry just eased off the ball there. England showing promise in the attack and leg, switching sides, at least for the time being. Trying to take on his man and having no joy. McCart with a brilliant tackle.
Yeah, it was a superb tackle there from McCart. I think Leg has sort of switched side. Looks like he sort of, England have maybe went with two up front, and I think McKay will be quite relieved by that because Leg was giving him a difficult task to try and sort of stick with him with his pace, but certainly now that candle has been passed on to McCart to try and deal with his pace and behind and dribbling, but a good first recovery tackle.
Corner in from Bates. Northern Ireland will keep the bodies back as England try and apply concerted pressure. Paradise pivoting and playing and receiving it back again. And then just missing the ball entirely. Free kick, no question, and it may be a talking to at least, as the referee pulls him across for a chat, and maybe no surprise there to see that the yellow card has come out for the Somerset lad, Joe Paradise.
Yeah, he's played well tonight, but that wasn't his brightest moment of the game. I think he had an opportunity if he'd thought quicker to maybe actually take the ball out of his feet and have a good shot at goal, and sort of dwelled on the ball and lost it, and then I think in desperation, having probably been frustrated at losing the ball, sort of dived into a tackle that he didn't really need to make because Patterson had very little support around him, and now that he's booked, the likes of McFeely should be trying to play off him a little bit more and seeing if he can get a run past him.
An extra dimension to consider for the defender. Has played for his district side, gone on tours to the Netherlands, Belgium, Sweden, and has also represented Somerset County Schools FA, so an experienced player, but it was a careless challenge, and it was careless altogether from England, and it nearly brought about a goal to put Northern Ireland in front for the first time. The base of the post to the rescue for the visitors.
Yeah, it came from a brilliant tackle from Jack Patterson there, and it was a sloppy pass in across from England, but touched as well. Great first touch and a super strike, and very unlucky that didn't go into the bottom corner. And Northern Ireland are much more competitive in this game since they got their goal.
What a marked improvement we have seen from them, and McCoubry getting excited, whipping it in.
I'm going to speak on behalf of the Fullbacks Association there and say, McCoubry there gets the ball in a good position, and I actually think that was a good ball in, but Northern Ireland really need to try and get more strikers in the box, and McFeely was probably out trying to support the play and unfortunately couldn't get it to him. But
it's the perfect view of it, wasn't it, really? The keeper was just hoping somehow that that would just clip onto the post because he was never getting to it.
No, it was superb from Toy. She takes a good first touch and looks up, and great strike, and he used the surface well, the slick surface, to sort of bounce it off, and just fractionally too far to the right.
Nana Miller winning the challenge, in the pass just pulled behind there, but you can see that Northern Ireland from where they were at the beginning of the first half in a very different place in the beginning of the second half.
Well, we talked about it, you know, it felt almost watching it that England were well on top of Northern Ireland, but as we mentioned in commentary, I felt it was all coming from the sort of midfield, and once Northern Ireland now have become a lot more competitive in midfield, winning the second balls, sort of 50-50 tackles, and it's allowed the forward players to then get into the game, the likes of Tosh, and it's like watching two different teams, and they've certainly been more competitive. And you know, England, look, it's kind of a strange formation as we look at them now on the wider sort of position that we've got, but Laig has sort of come on up front, but they haven't sort of put anybody out right wing, so it's almost like a, I don't know, is it a sort of like a 4-3-2 but with no right winger. So McKay is the out ball for Northern Ireland now, and I'm not sure if you can see it so much on camera, but if Northern Ireland can get the ball out this left hand side, there's absolutely nobody apart from the right back on that side for England, and it's a real route for Northern Ireland if they can be calm and get the ball out there.
Yeah, they are overloaded on that side for the moment, at least anyway, as Dean got it to Bates. He was able to win his challenge, but Northern Ireland comfortably allowing it to roll all the way through to Brown.
That's why I think, look, there's Brown, you know, it's a strange tactic from England. Obviously a poor touch there, but that's the play for Northern Ireland. When they get it out to McKay, and it's strange because England were getting a lot of joy. You know, Laig was probably their biggest danger down that right side, so it's quite surprising to see him move from there.
We'll watch and see how that one develops. Stones has got the turn. McKay sticking to his man. Well-timed header. Good intervention there. Burton keeping it sensible. England keeping the ball. Well, not anymore.
Yeah, without having a right winger, I think they're having to play down the left side all the time, and it becomes quite predictable for Northern Ireland because, you know, McKay, Kelly, McCart and McCouprie are all just shifting over to the right hand side and basically letting them play out to the right because there's nobody there, and it becomes much easier to defend when you can only attack one down side.
Well, it's an interesting idea because on England's bench they've Bailey Hall, who's a left winger, so you could, if you needed to, introduce him and put Laig on the right side, which is where he got his goal from. Far be it from me to tell anybody how to manage a football team, but it is an option that's available there should it be required, but for the moment England have not dipped to the bench.
Yeah, I'm sure he has his reasons, but it's just, you know, I would have said that Laig was probably, you know, England's most dangerous player so far, and I know you talked about Stone's goal-scoring threat in the friendly games, but Laig looked to be really dangerous, and they've probably just, you know, sort of taken away their most sort of valued way to goal by the looks of it.
Well, he's drifted more across to the right for the moment, so it's a little in-game tactical watching brief potentially, but Frankie Wilson will be feeling good about what he has seen from his team so far. Northern Ireland, who are the only side to make a change in this game at the moment, which was to bring on Patterson for McStravick, who appears to have maybe picked up some sort of muscular injury. They weren't taking any risks with him anyway.
Yeah, and Patterson's done well since he came into that number 6 position. That's another really important header, and he screened the back four well, and as you say, you know, I think both teams will have to look to the bench. I think McFeely's had to do an awful lot of running because the way Northern Ireland have played, he's had to really chase after a lot of long balls in the two centre backs. So I would say that may be one position that they may look to change, but there'll be plenty of subs that maybe be made, and this will be the time to make their impact when it's one each.
A game very much hanging in the balance as we come into the 56th minute. I was mentioning Bob Ramsey earlier because, as well as being the secretary of the Northern Ireland schools, he is a man who knows all about football at this level, and I have to thank him personally because he handed me a folder of I think every player that's ever played as we were preparing for this competition, and I was chatting to him earlier. Really remarkable record when you go through the names of who's who of who has made it, and I know I mentioned him earlier on, Gareth McCauley, MBE, of course.
Yeah.
His first cap, I think, was at this level, which, you know, it's remarkable to think that, really.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Bob Ramsey's an absolute legend, and that's probably what makes this Northern Ireland team so special. You know, the likes of Bob Ramsey, such a brilliant character, and somebody that I always get a big hug from every time we see him, and a real legend, and a big Coleraine supporter.
I'll make a note of that. I'm going to Coleraine tomorrow. Cross comes in, headed away by Nanon and Miller. Tosh couldn't get the purchase he desired, and that was wide of the post. Irish League fans, of course, will know Coleraine are playing against Glenavon tomorrow. So trip up the road to the showgrounds. Great to occupy your weekends and fill them with football.
Absolutely. Bob Ramsey will just be disappointed we didn't give him his full title, because he also, I'm not sure whether it's an OB or an MBE, but I always slag him. When he texted me one time saying it was Bob, and I texted back, is it the Bob with the OB or the MBE? And he said, yeah. So I haven't saved as a contact as that such, so he'll enjoy listening back to this one, I'm sure.
Love that. Well, the header won. Montgomery, I think with some justification, saying, well, where are you lads? I've been able to help you a wee bit here. Flicked it on. Burton going through the gears, did well to keep his balance as well there, able to handle himself, but just would appear to be moving a little stiffly, whether it was the coming together or something before that. Patterson, Paradise on a yellow card, but made that look easy.
Yeah, it was good play again though from Patterson. Did really well to read that and intercept it.
Now it's leg. 2 in the middle for England. Northern Ireland studying the runners, trying to close down any opportunities. Beerling, Burton, hanging it in deep. And despite the best work of leg, he couldn't get there, and Frankie Wilson appreciating the good shape of his defence as he shouts onto the pitch.
Yeah, I think they got into a really good shape once the recovery, but I think at times maybe as that ball went into leg, Northern Ireland's defence would make it too easy and they sort of back off, and leg probably could have had a shot himself, because a bit like Northern Ireland's goal, you know, at times the defence I think can be a little bit higher and make it harder for leg to turn and get at them, but certainly since leg sort of moved into more into the middle, England don't seem to have the same threat, and trying to play all down this left hand side, but Northern Ireland have defended it well.
D'Amico Burton just receiving treatment. Looks like a bit of cramp in his calf at the moment, and they will make sure he's okay before they continue. Tony Harris, England's physio, giving him the once over.
Yeah, it's great to see how professional this has gotten. You know, even sort of, I'm sure Bob Ramsey always used to tell us some great stories, but you know, you look at both teams, you know, physios, kitmen, and you know, people really doing things very professionally now, playing the games at good stadiums, and all the kits come with it, and it certainly has improved the Centenary Shield as the professionalism has increased, and I think it's being more and more recognised by teams. And although Frankie Wilson and Simon Nix will be disappointed that the likes of Aaron Whiteman and Patrick Kelly have been taken off them, I think it's sort of testament to Frankie and Simon and all the coaches of their club teams that actually they're being valued, and that Irish League football as a whole is being valued at the international level, and that, you know, the likes of Gareth McCauley and Jared Little are probably have watched these games and seen the likes of Aaron Whiteman and spotted him out as someone that can play. So he'll maybe not thank me for saying that, but certainly it shows just how valuable everybody is sort of starting to take the Centenary Shield.
Gavin White, Brad Lyons, Paul Smith, you know, a lot of recent talented alumni coming through, and you know, England can point to various names down through the years. I think one of the most famous examples is Chris Smalling.
Yeah, and the most amazing thing for me is that it's for a lot of these guys, it's their first cap. You know, it's not like they just sort of rolled into the Northern Ireland 18s team as the best player and it was an easy pick. You know, a lot of these guys were unearthed. Keelan Marin was another. Mark Sykes, I think this was the first time they were ever capped. And when you look at what a lot of those players have went on to achieve then thereafter, and they were, you know, practically shoe-ins for under 19 and under 21 squads, but they certainly weren't when Frankie and Simon and, you know, likes of Eamon Donoghue, who was coach there before then, and Bob Ramsey really unearthed a lot of these guys, and many others that went out to American scholarships, maybe players we hadn't heard of, and it's a fantastic experience, and one I wish I could redo again.
England are going to be forced into a change in a moment because Burton is sadly not able to continue. McCoubry, some young supporters doing a lap in front of us here. Can you hear them? They're enjoying their night. Bates. Well, information just being passed across. It's going to be Bailey Hall to come on. And this stoppage now might provide the opportunity. Well, no, Northern Ireland going quickly with it. So the fourth official readying the board. England, for the time being, down to 10 men.
Yeah, I think that would have been a very controversial goal if Northern Ireland had scored, because England was 10 men, and I think Patterson took the free kick about 15 yards inside the pitch when the foul was on the line. So I think for his sake he'll be relieved that came to nothing.
McCoubry. Was hoping for McFeely, and that was Bates belting it out and just saying, let's get the sub on, please.
Yeah, it's quite intelligent. I don't think he would have done that otherwise. He probably would have kicked it up the pitch, but good idea just to get 11 men back on the pitch. But some positive play there from Northern Ireland. Another good ball in from McCoubrey, and I think Northern Ireland just maybe need to try and get more men in the box. I think Tosh was sort of waiting on the outside for it coming back, and if he can just get himself in at the back post, it gives Northern Ireland another option when those crosses come in.
So the winger, Billy Hall, introduced, plays for Cheshire County Schools FA, has pledged his future to a scholarship in the USA as well, which has been organised by the English School FA partners, First Point USA. So exciting time ahead for him. Centenary Shield to look forward to, and then in the not too distant future, America beckons. Great run here, stabbed forward by Hockey. Did well to engineer a bit of space, having wriggled away from his marker, but it was comfortable enough in the end for the England goalkeeper.
Yeah, it was good play from Hockey, but just as you say that, you know, I actually haven't played in the under-18 Northern Ireland squad. I had interest from a university in America and got an offer to scholarship then too, and it just shows you, you know, this, especially now with the games being more televised, you never know who's watching, and some of the opportunities that could come up for these lads, and for players from both sides have really shown how good they can be, and I'm sure that there'll be anybody watching will be very much impressed at both club level and maybe further afield.
I think everybody just held their breath to wait and see if that worked out. It wasn't far off working out. McCart showing his array of passing there, but couldn't quite pull it back for his teammate making the run.
Yeah, they've tried that pass all night. I think England have tried to play a high line and force them to play that ball, and it's a difficult one to play, but if they can get it right, they'll, you know, Tosh with his crossing ability will be able to give them opportunities, and from there it's just trying to get another man in the box. You know, they took off obviously McStravick, who was sort of playing as a number 10 and behind the striker, to bring on Patterson, who's now sort of behind the midfield in the number 6. So although they're dominating the midfield more now and they're getting crosses in the box, they probably do want to try and maybe get more crosses into the box and get more men in when those crosses come in, because it's McFeely's a little bit isolated at times. With there being so few games in this competition, the other way, I guess, of looking at this as time goes on as well, is will a draw be enough for Northern Ireland? Because they've lost that opening game against Scotland, they responded against Wales, but a draw here, it's more points dropped, and it puts the odds against you, doesn't it? No, a draw is not enough, and I think that's why, you know, probably makes this format quite exciting a bit, like the Six Nations, you know, in the rugby, that, you know, if you lose when you have to win the race and you nearly, you know, chase, you know, obviously there's no goal difference, but well, let's just see how this one goes. Hockey's picked up what was a loose pass. He has support arriving, and the shot is well held. Keeper able to get down. Keogh with a few angry looks at his team there. Montgomery not able to bury it after Hockey's good work, but Northern Ireland are going to have to do more of that. Yeah, it was brilliant play from Northern Ireland again on the transition, great counter-attack, and he probably could have shot earlier himself, but releases the pass, and again another decent chance for Northern Ireland, but they certainly look like the team on top at the moment. It looks as though Leg has sort of moved back to the right hand side for England, but there's just, you know, sometimes in football when you lose that momentum, it's very hard to get back, and England, when they watch this game back, will be disappointed with how they, you know, in the first 20 minutes they could have probably been 2 or 3-0 up, and having missed those chances now, Northern Ireland are the team on top. England last won the Centenary Shield in 2017 when they were joint winners with Northern Ireland, so they've had a bit of a wait since then. The Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland have claimed the honour for themselves. The holders holding England to a draw for the time being. That's Northern Ireland's third game in the competition, remember, whereas England have it all really ahead of them. Dangerous ball in, missed by the keeper, and wide of the post. Well, screams went out from the stands who thought that Northern Ireland had benefited from a moment of madness, but England are off the hook. It's fantastic play from Northern Ireland. It started with Rian Brown out to Aidan Kelly, and it just progressed from there. It was brilliant play, and Tosh will be gutted with that. You know, It's probably a tough chance with the keeper bearing down on him, and I think the England right back beside him, but he, you know, with an open net there, he'll be really disappointed he wasn't able to poke that home. But superb play from Northern Ireland, right from their own goalkeeper through the defence into midfield and out wide, and a great delivery in. And they certainly look like to be the team on top, and they've got to keep pushing on here and try and get this goal.
Well, England will be scratching their heads about what needs to be done, but Northern Ireland have certainly impressed. Inches away from inching in front. Montgomery, he's worked very hard. Hall. McCart getting it to McCoubry. I'm sure there'll be tired legs out there. Patterson, he's one of the fresher players, and in snapping away, making the challenge and talking to teammates, trying to get them organised, trying to get them fired up, I guess.
Yeah, Patterson's really impressed me when he's come on. I think, you know, when Northern Ireland look back on this, I think they showed England far too much respect at the start, and even on kickouts they were just allowing England to get the ball. And you look at them now, England with a kickout, the two Northern Ireland strikers sitting right in the edge of the 18-yard box, pressing every ball. Patterson there, ball in the midfield, straight on, and they've played much better when they've changed that tactic to sort of play that high press rather than sort of allowing England to get so much time and space on the ball.
Well, we've seen two good goals in this game. Will there be another one? Will there be a decisive one? Plenty of time for it. 21 minutes to go. McCoubry, not the direction he was hoping to head in. That's been probably wisely taken away from him. Scullion just scooping it back to the keeper. Northern Ireland trying to keep their wits about them. Hall past Scullion, and Scullion's tackle is going to get him a yellow card.
Yeah, although Northern Ireland are playing well, I think that, you know, Montgomery's starting to maybe tire a bit, and the big high ball coming up there. Wouldn't be surprised if Northern Ireland maybe try and bring a big strong forward on to try and hold those up, but big opportunity now for England.
Well, the first half was a good example about football not being predictable. Being on top is one thing, taking your chances whilst on top is obviously what's most important, and with it being 1-1, who will be the team that can grab the game by the scruff?
I think Northern Ireland needs somebody in the whole bad, and that's what Frankie's screaming about. There's a huge gap in between the front post and the ball. I think they've sorted it out now.
Well, he was being very precise with his placement there, if not a little fussy, but it's brilliantly dropped in, and it's watched over the bar in the end for the goal kick. But just for a moment there, a couple of nerves jangling. Yeah,
that was very nervy indeed. It's good delivery in there from England, and they'll probably be disappointed again that they weren't able to direct something at least on target, because again they won the header from 6 yards out, and it's a good opportunity. But I think it was McCart defended well and probably just about did enough to put him off.
Crucial period in the game. Northern Ireland are going to make another change in a moment. Look at McGreevy is the player stripped off and ready to come on. The Inst student and Glenavon youngster. And this will be the opportunity, if they're not too superstitious, to make a sub at a corner, which is one of football's perplexing ones.
Yeah, you can never make a change on a corner.
Tradition honoured.
And the last thing you need is somebody coming on and then them trying to tell somebody to mark somebody different, and the confusion is not good.
That appears to be the shared unconventional wisdom as it comes in. Punch, but not away. And England are appealing, and they'll get a corner. I think they were wanting a penalty. Handball was the call from Paradise. We'll maybe get another look at that again in a moment, but
big let off.
It dropped into the box, and they will feel they should have hit the target. Obviously, we're deflected away, and again, Northern Ireland in the last couple of set pieces just about surviving.
Yeah, it was a great header by Kelly in the end, but the only thing we talked about before, England have huge height and good delivery.
Well, they're almost on top of the keeper there. That's a better defensive header, and England will keep it alive and try and keep on top of Northern Ireland. Berling's ball, leg, McKay doing well there. I think England were wanting the throw in, but
yeah,
they'll get the corner there.
One thing we picked up on before teams even started warming up was the size of this English team, and even they're leaving the number. You know, some of the players they're leaving back from the corner are huge, and that's where it's going to be difficult for Northern Ireland, because they've quite a few small technical players, and I think it's going to be difficult for them. You know, they've got to try and stop giving away these set pieces, because once they've given them away, England have a lot of height and strength, and the deliveries that they've been putting in are good. So I think Aidan Kelly's got his hands in the air there. He's sort of wondering who they can maybe mark or how they can defend these better, because if they keep giving them away, England are going to create opportunities.
Well, they've decided to make a change at a corner just so they can make that change. McGreevy finally on. Montgomery, the player who has made way. And the touch, I think it was Ashton Fox who got his head to that, but he wasn't able to guide it between the posts, and Northern Ireland, well, they were very close to going behind.
I was about to say, do you never make a change at a corner? No, but Northern Ireland, you know, as well as they played in this second half, they've looked shaky on the set pieces, and again, maybe wonder if Frankie might try and bring somebody on to bit of height and strength, because England, you know, when the delivery's been superb, and they're getting on the end of those, so Northern Ireland really have to try better not to give away cheap free kicks or corners.
It was Ashton Fox, wasn't just as easy maybe on that viewing it, deflected onto his head somewhat. Hall challenged by McCoubry, and this game has ebbed and flowed, and England looking to finish the game like they began, which is on top. Good call from Brown.
Yeah, I think if I was him, I would just be taking a moment to get the sting out of the game. But you know, as you say, you know, Bailey Hall's introduction on the left-hand side here for England has certainly given them that spark, and another player that's very, very tall in stature. So, it's, as you say, a very exciting game so far.
Draw would definitely not be a bad result for England, but having already lost to Scotland, it means something different to Northern Ireland. I think England are hard done by not to get the free kick there, in truth, but play goes on, and they might feel even more hard done by here if this isn't dealt with. It hasn't been dealt with, and the free kick has been given, and the goal has been chalked off, and I think people will want to see this one again. Was there a little push in the box before that came out to be slotted in?
Well, Frankie Wilson's absolutely furious, and for me, as you said, it was definitely a free kick to England at the halfway line when I'm not sure one of the England centre midfielders lost the ball, but it was definitely a free kick at the halfway line. But it seems to me that it was one of those where the referee feels he may have made a mistake earlier, and there's no way that's a free kick for me. I think Luca McGreevy sort of stretches in, pokes it, keeper makes the save, and it comes out, and it's well finished by Northern Ireland. But
yeah,
I think it's one of those where the referees probably thought, and maybe should have give the free kick at the halfway line, and I'm going to give a soft one now.
It's something that people will be talking about. Certainly didn't appear to be a foul immediately before McFeely slotted that one into the goal. McGreevy challenging with the defender. This is a foul, and there's no doubt about that.
Yeah,
there was never any suggestion of an advantage. It was waved away as not a foul, and it's afterwards when Northern Ireland just are about to score that the referee thinks maybe I should have given that other one. I'm not so sure if that was his logic, to be fair to him. I'm putting words in his mouth, but it's the only thing that really makes sense on that viewing.
Yeah, it was actually a poor tackle from Shane Hoy. It was definitely a booking as well, probably. But yeah, from a refereeing perspective, 2 wrongs definitely don't make a right, and you know, to get one decision wrong and then the next after will be very frustrating for Northern Ireland.
So Northern Ireland could have been 2-1, but it's still 1-1. Hall wants to go himself, and gobbled up gratefully by Brown.
It's a fantastic game though, and it's great to see both teams playing in such a good fashion, trying to get the ball down and play, and super play there from England through the defensive third. The goalkeeper rolls it out, and Hall again very dangerous on this side.
McFeely trying to get the better of Paradise, so he's able to hold him off, and then plays it just past the speakers there.
Yeah, McFeely, to be fair, has played very well. He's really worked hard, been very isolated at times on his own.
And that was the big chance where they were asking about a handball in there. Maybe this will be a more illuminating angle. Paradise with the shot.
It's definitely not a handball. I think it comes off McKay's back, but the concern for Northern Ireland there was that they let the ball bounce, and they were very, very fortunate that it didn't end up in the back of their net.
A game not without incident. Less than 13 minutes of normal time remains. What a brilliant run it is here. And off the frame of the goal. Well, remarkable. I think he was trying to pull it back as a pass, but it almost ends up being kind of a la Ryan Giggs against Arsenal all those years ago, wasn't it? He just ran past everybody, thrashed it, and it was off the upright and out.
Yeah, Keogh won't want to see that back again. Threw it straight out. McKay, the Dundela player, absolutely superb run there, and just at the right moment I think he could have pulled it back to McFeely, but super play from Northern Ireland, and it's been a very, very exciting game. It feels as if there's a goal coming.
And honest as well, Bobby, because as that contact comes in there, I mean, it's wild defending. You see so many players go down at that moment, and you know, I'm not advocating for it at all. It's great to see a player stay on his feet, but it would have forced a decision, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure I would have stayed on my feet about it. I mean, when you get in that position and took a great first touch, as you say, you maybe could have let the player nearly take you out and get the penalty, but he did well, and maybe just at that moment he showed himself as a left back, and probably could have shown a little bit more composure to pull it back, but a brilliant run, and showed great energy and enthusiasm.
Well, just one or two signs of tempers flaring a little bit, but the referee's not getting too carried away with any of that, which is good to see.
I'd love to see a heart rate monitor on Frankie Wilson here, because although he's not on camera the whole time, we can see him, and he's shouting and roaring as loudly as ever.
Well, there's a really good respect between both managers. I know that they're good friends, but I think during the 90 minutes you wouldn't be able to tell that necessarily, which is, you know, it's true of competitive sport and competitors.
Yeah, absolutely, and even, you know, the competitive nature in the game there. McGreevy coming on and did really well to hold that ball up, and that's where probably Northern Ireland have improved most on from the earlier parts of the game where they were struggling.
Patterson. Northern Ireland trying to push on. Will there be a grandstand finish? Just over 10 minutes left here at Blanchflower Stadium. The keeper's coming. He's missed it, and it's just wide. Well,
I cannot believe that's not a corner.
Not a corner. Well, I was busy thinking it was going to trickle in, and then just realised that they've given the goal kick.
Yeah, I mean, Harvey Keogh played well in the first half, but he's had a few sort of shaky moments in this second, and he's very, very fortunate. That was a sort of bread and butter catch. Long ball by McCart was probably too close to him, and he should really have claimed that. And one of the easiest decisions the referee could have had to make tonight would have been to give a corner there, but I think very frustrating for Northern Ireland, because it's obviously a good opportunity to get that ball in the box, and probably, you know, without being too critical of the referees, there's been 2 or 3 decisions that have gone against Northern Ireland that I think when the referee looks back on, we'll think he maybe got wrong.
Tom Grzelewski coming on, and it will be Legg who scored the game's opening goal to make way.
Yeah, I think Legg was outstanding in the first half, probably heading towards man of the match, and just hasn't got into the game in this second half, and I don't think the change of formation really suited him.
Northern Ireland will be looking back at moments that they've had. I mean, you can't really call it an opportunity, that one, because it's a long ball forward that the keeper has misjudged, and it nearly leads to a goal. But, you know, Tosh hitting the base of the post, putting one wide at the other side of the goal after the keeper didn't claim across. You can look at moments back and wonder, and then McFeely with the goal chalked off. It's not as if Northern Ireland haven't given this a real go.
And McKay hitting the post too from a great run, so they had plenty of chances, and they've really responded well to a poor start to the game, and I think now they've realised they've nothing to fear. I think at the start of the game they were maybe showing them too much respect, but certainly now right in the game, and a really exciting 10 minutes in front of us now.
Free kick given, the push on Bates as he tried to advance. Correct decision from the referee.
I think Jack Patterson, the Ballyclare High School student and Crusaders player, has been really, really good today. You know, since he's come on at half time, has probably got on the ball more and given Northern Ireland a different option than just going long every time.
In deep from England. Northern Ireland haven't been able to clear it yet, but they'll have the goal kick as the substitute Grozewski wasn't able to get a firmer connection on it.
I think it's a clash of heads between Kelly and Joe Paradise there, and to be fair to Kelly, he's won a lot of headers back there, and England, particularly in this second half, have tried to play long, and both McCart and Kelly have stood really strong and won a lot of those headers, and it's really helped Northern Ireland build into the game. And
well, we were just, as you were describing that expertly, watching that opportunity in inverted commas again. Some of the reactions behind the goals are priceless, to be honest. I think a few people were ready to go off on a victory lap there. Didn't come to fruition for them. Paradise is okay. Northern Ireland, well, they had Kelly back on his feet quite quickly, but Paradise is still being checked on as we see the England dugout just contemplating maybe one more change if it's needed.
it's interesting. It's funny thinking that all these lads are still at school, and particularly some of the England lads look like fully grown men. And Aidan Kelly, an ex-St Malachy student like I was, and deputy head boy there, and also a very talented golfer, and somebody that's beaten me plenty of times out in the golf course. I think he's about a 2 or 3 handicap there, and so good to see there's plenty of the Northern Ireland players are so talented, and not just football but other sports too.
Hateful. That's my word for that. People that are talented at everything, ugh, hard to stick them. The ball, well, won back by England, but apparently not fairly. Free kick given there, and well, Northern Ireland won't complain about it. I imagine England will take a different view, but it is another chance to get bodies into the box.
I think that's another one that will go into the category of interesting decisions. A good opportunity, and as we see Kelly and McCart come forward.
Referee Joe Mullen just making sure that England's one-man wall's in place until he turns his back. And then immediately 1 yard, 2 yard. Yeah, we've all done it. Tosh, keeper thought about coming. Hockey was leaning back, and that hasn't gone out. Keeper's on the ground. And there looked to be a coming together off the ball there. Northern Ireland with McCoubry. He takes the touch and takes the throw in.
I would like to see that back, but it looked to be Patterson with Keogh, and it looked like he sort of threw him to the floor, and he needs to be very careful, because if the referee had seen that, he could easily have given a penalty against him.
Well, he didn't need to, because the ball was gone. All very silly to get involved, but maybe there was a tangle. I don't know. We'll see that if there was anything in it in a moment. But Northern Ireland asking questions, and England defending, heading it away. Patterson. McKay, forward he goes.
Some super play there from Northern Ireland.
Well, just whilst we're waiting on the throw in, let's have a look at that. They thought it was going to go out. They waited on it, and it was just here Northern Ireland weren't happy. I don't think there was much really in that, in fairness.
Again, not very confident goalkeeping from Keogh, and obviously thinking it was going to go out, and when it didn't, he could have been left with egg on his face again.
Northern Ireland have a player down at the corner flag here. Back on their feet now anyway. Play continues. Nobody wants to really waste any time at this stage in the game. Northern Ireland with 4 minutes to try and find a winner. And a reminder, the reason there's greater urgency on that, this is England's first game, so a draw in your first game, not too bad, but Northern Ireland, having already lost on opening night, will feel that they can really not afford to drop many more points.
Yeah, it was a very exciting format, and even from England's point of view, they probably wouldn't want to draw this game either.
Patterson, brilliant tackle from him. England, to their credit, quickly closing down any attractive avenues in midfield, forcing Northern Ireland to come wide. And Hockey, well, he's being pulled everywhere there, and I think he's just showing the assistant official what he thought about that. And England, who are maybe playing for time a little bit more than what they would have been earlier on, will be defending a free kick once the officials have got their heads around all of this.
Yeah, I think it's one of the England players suffering with cramp, but it's amazing how a game can transition. When, after 10 minutes it looked as if England could have won this game 3-0 within the first 15-20 minutes, and now time wasting to try and hang on at one each. But as you say, I think there's 2 England players now receiving treatment for cramp out here, so it's certainly something Northern Ireland should be trying to benefit from and really push on to try and get a winner here, because as you say, it's vital that they get that winner.
Well, the one on the near side is the Nona Miller, and in fairness to him, I think he's more typically a centre back. He's playing full back tonight. He's had to bomb up and down that line, and I'm sure that has taken its toll. Well,
the physio didn't come onto the pitch for a long time, and then did come on, and having come on, the player needing treatment should have had to come off. So, bit of a stickler for the rules, but it certainly wasn't followed there.
After all that, free kick to Northern Ireland. Time ticking away, just over 2 minutes to go for Frankie Wilson's side. It's into the box, and the header popping away from goal. I think a few in front of me thought it was going the other direction for a moment.
It was a great delivery from Tosh McGreevy. Probably just could have stuck his neck out a bit and flicked it on, but good goalkeeping there by Keogh.
He does well to get 2 strong gloves on it, Keogh. Hockey, Nona Miller, who was feeling the effects of cramp a moment ago, can't quite keep up with Hockey, and again Keogh able to get a good grip on that and show the calmness that can be taken for granted sometimes, but it is important that your goalkeeper knows when to take that breather. I think every outfield player has had that moment where you have a collective sigh of relief that he's done just that and not launched it back for you to chase.
Yeah, another good moment for him, but certainly Northern Ireland on the front foot and looking very dangerous.
Stones has kicked the ball away in frustration. I can sympathise with him slightly there. I don't think there was much wrong.
I don't think the cameras will have picked that up, but Richard Clark has just sprinted and got a ball and had an unbelievable ping so that Northern Ireland could get in play there and showing the full effect of his quality. But that was that didn't look to me to be a free kick at all. I think McCoubry kind of slipped, and the England management team have let the 4th official know their full thoughts on that too.
Frankie Wilson trying to G the team up for whatever additional time there might be. Gary Thompson, the 4th official, will be lifting his board in a moment to show us. Hasn't been too many lengthy stoppages. Bailey Hall, England could win this yet. He's made room, and they have the bodies there, and they have won it. And it's Stones, the danger man, hasn't shied away as he sticks it below Brown, and Northern Ireland are heading to their 2nd defeat of the tournament.
That's so disappointing from Northern Ireland, having played so well in this second half, and McCoubry particularly just gets too tight to Bailey Hall, and he's shown his quality in this half, and he's cut back, and I think Northern Ireland just be disappointed. They get an extra man on the edge of the box, and Stones does well, as you say. He's good goal pedigree in the games coming into the tournament, and he's time to take a touch and finish it well, and it's a good goal from England's point of view, but from Northern Ireland's point of view, they'll think it was too easy, for Bailey Hall to come inside, and he slides it back, and a bit of quality there to finish.
Well, that's what good strikers do, isn't it? Even if they've not had it their own way. Well, that's the most false starts of kick-off I've seen in a while, but apparently we're just going to ignore that. Northern Ireland with almost every single player in the opposing half. I can understand the sentiment.
Yeah, they don't look to be leaving anybody back, which is good to see them really going for it.
But just to your point a moment before that goal came about, Northern Ireland were rushing things. Their coaching staff were kicking to get the ball back into play because they thought they could win it. And England, who have soaked up a lot of pressure, have got themselves in front. And Northern Ireland will probably come away wondering how they've ended up losing this game, if indeed that is the result. But to England's credit, they've stuck at it. They've held on at times. It's been a bit scrappy. It's been dogged. It hasn't all been pretty. But they showed a moment of quality. And that's what got them back in front.
The only thing I would say, I think England are very fortunate in the scheduling of the tournament, with this being Northern Ireland's sort of 3rd game. it is a real advantage to England, because as you say, they didn't need to win it, so they were sort of playing, and Northern Ireland were almost playing as if they were losing the game, throwing men forward, and that's probably what left the space for Stone to get free at the back post. And it's probably a nice position for England to be in, where they were able to practically sort of soak up the pressure, as you say, and Northern Ireland had to push so many men onto them, and it then gave England the opportunity to push forward and sneak a winner, and probably just a little, you know, benefit of the schedule.
We've played half of the allocated additional time, still 2 minutes to go.
It's been a strange game, but certainly one that's very exciting, and you know, with some of the big chances that Northern Ireland had in the last 10 minutes, they'll be really disappointed if they do end up losing.
Patterson dispossessed. Kelly won the challenge. Stones put him under pressure, and Stones is now backing himself to go and add to his tally, stinging the palms of Brown, who saved smartly.
I don't think this is the time to take time to kick it.
They wanted to make sure they had that line of almost 5 players queuing up for it, and well, that's not the header that you want. That was going to be on target, and Keogh most certainly had to make sure he caught that one, but he did. England less than a minute away from the perfect start to their Centenary Shield campaign. And boy, have they been made to work hard for this win. Is there one last chance? McCart. Left for the keeper, and McFeely just blocked off in the right sense, as a defender would do, stepping across his man and helping his keeper out. Valuable seconds creep away. We tick over the time added on, and now we're playing into the referee's discretion, and we won't have any more time. Northern Ireland's aspirations of winning this year's competition have surely come to an end now after this second defeat in 3 games. We said it would be a small margin either way coming into this one, but England get off to a winning start, and a difficult night for one side, but for England it is exactly what they were hoping for. And their manager Richie Alderson was, before the game, lamenting in the fact that he's beaten all the home nations, had never beaten Northern Ireland. That has changed now, and that has maybe added to the celebrations there. They paid great respect, England, coming over here. They knew that this would be a challenge. It's a fixture they've looked forward to, and Scotland up next for them. But contrasting emotions on the pitch, Bobby Burns, as you might expect. Your thoughts at full time here?
Yeah, it was a brilliant game, very, very exciting, but quite a strange one at the same time. You know, I thought England were superb for 20 minutes, probably as good a performance as I've seen any Centenary Shield team play, and they looked like they could have gone on to win the game 3 or 4-0 the way they were playing, and Northern Ireland probably showed them too much respect. But having got a brilliant goal from McFeely, Northern Ireland were superb after that, and probably will feel really disappointed at a couple of refereeing decisions that went against them, and probably just a couple of chances that they weren't able to score, and then probably England get the winner against the run of play. And you know, a very exciting game, and one that both managers will probably look back on with a little bit of disappointment at certain things that happened, and certainly some of the refereeing decisions that went against Northern Ireland at vital moments, you know, didn't help them.
Well, the full-time score here: Northern Ireland 1, England 2, and let's recap on the goals from this game. Inside 10 minutes, it was a penetrating pass and run. Leg got inside the fullback and put it perfectly inside the post, as England were purling early doors in East Belfast.
That was a fantastic goal, a great ball, and at that stage, you know, you just see there, you know, the time that they get the ball, great goal, and England probably should have scored probably two or three before that even, and it looked at that stage like it was going to be a long night for Northern Ireland.
And Northern Ireland, who were under the cosh, restricted in the first half for any sort of clear-cut chances, in lieu of a clear-cut chance, produced a moment of real quality.
Yeah, and
Tosh's pass inside, and McFeely picked that out.
Yeah, and I think that really settled them down. It was probably the first time, you know, the likes of Tosh got the ball, played a brilliant ball in between the lines to McFeely, and a great goal. And after that, you know, particularly with the introduction of Jack Patterson in midfield, I think they really settled into their play and started to pass the ball about more and stopped playing in England's hands so much with long high balls to the big centre backs. And yeah, as you say, you know, it's probably just disappointing from Northern Ireland's point of view. You know, you do wonder maybe with the likes of Patrick Kelly, Aaron Whiteman, and even a fully fit 90-minute Liam McStravick, would it have helped them? And you know, it perhaps would have done. You know, it might have been the difference in this game, but unfortunately for Northern Ireland, those players weren't available, and they'll be disappointed that they weren't able to get the win tonight.
Well, you can understand why the director wanted an extra angle on that one. A glorious strike from McFeely. But Northern Ireland, in the dying embers, they were throwing the kitchen sink at it. They knew that a draw wouldn't be good enough, and the result of committing players forward is sometimes you get found out at the other end. That's what happened. Hall showing great skill and composure, the substitute, pulling it back for the clinical striker Stones, who stuck it away and gave England a valuable 3 points to kick off their campaign.
Yeah, and as you say, it's a great learning experience for the Northern Ireland players. I think McCrory played well tonight, but in that one instance got too tight to Hall, and Hall had his back to goal, but he made it too easy and he was able to roll him and get inside him. And then, as you say, you know, I think there ended up being 2 England players at the back post who both could have scored it. Northern Ireland sort of went for it, and it's probably lucky for England, as we talk about the schedule, that, you know, Northern Ireland had to push for it, even though it was only still a draw, and England then were sort of the benefactors for that it left more space for them to try and nick a winner. And it's a huge win for them to come to Northern Ireland away from home and win. And I would say that England would be a very, very tough team to beat in this tournament, and would be the favourites at this stage, having seen them play so well tonight.
4 out of the 5 teams equal top by virtue of having 3 points. Still a long way to go, but England showing what they can do. It was a very happy huddle of players. They're hanging around for photographs on the pitch, making memories, and they'll be hoping to carry on that form next Friday when they host Scotland. And that's what it's all about. As I said, we can talk about football and a results business, of which it is, and these players want to win all their games, make no mistake about that, but they are also, some of them playing at the highest level they might reach, and these are some of the best days potentially of their career, and we should embrace that and celebrate that. And it's lovely to see that camaraderie and togetherness. Just a reminder, our next live game takes us to Buncrana Hearts FC, the host venue for the Republic of Ireland against Northern Ireland. That will be a brilliant game. Remember, that's Thursday, 7 o'clock kickoff, and I hope you can join us for it. From Bobby Burns, from myself and from the rest of the team, we wish you a very good night here from Blanchflower Stadium. Bye-bye.